Breaking news. A touring music artist opens up a dialogue about racism in Australia and is immediately crucified by the white press. So who is Azealia Banks? If you don't know her by now, you must be living under a rock, honestly. Too often the media and the internet focus on her feuds, but what about her music? What about her rise to stardom? How did she get there? And how did she use the internet to fulfill her dreams? Find out. Thanks for tuning into The Internet, a monthly series where I recap famous internet feuds, internet viral videos, and the aftermath that follows. Today, this episode is all about my favourite singer in the entire world, Azealia Banks. So yes, this will be biased, just a heads up. But in short, you may have heard about some of her feuds. Well, here's just some to name a few. But in all seriousness, her story from rising star with the release of the 1991 EP, her monster smash hit 212, all the way through to her lot-awaited LP release of Broke with Expensive Taste and Successive Projects, is something not many people know, and it's quite interesting. So where do we go from here? First of all, Azealia is an incredible artist who receives consistent critical acclaim for all her music projects, but she's also an artist who refuses to conform to societal norms, whether it be through her use of Twitter, calling out scammers like she did with the recent Australian tour, even just, fighting back against just some deranged fans who feel the need and entitlement to hound her constantly. Putting myself into that position because I have met her backstage. I also did wait around the back of Enmore Theatre the other night, but I'm talking more about fans who feel the need to comment on her physical appearance, comment on her music, always attack her in other ways. Yet, if they saw her in person, it would always be, yes, Queen, yes, Hunty, Slay, Azealia. It's just so fucking pathetic at this point, honestly. Azealia Amanda Banks was born on 1991 in New York City's Manhattan borough. She was the youngest of three children. Her single mother raised her and her two siblings after their father died of pancreatic cancer when she was just 2 years old. Following her father's death, Banks said that her mother became really abusive, physically and verbally. Like, she would hit me and my sisters with baseball bats, bang our heads up against walls, and she would always tell me I was ugly. I remember once she threw out all the food in the fridge just so we wouldn't have anything to eat. Due to the escalating violence, Azealia moved out of her mother's house at age 14 to live with her sister. Currently, her relationship with her mother has healed, as she states the older she gets, the more she understands that her mother had a mental illness. At a young age, Azealia became interested in musical theatre, dancing, acting, and singing. At age 16, she starred in a production of the comedy noir musical City of Angels, where she was found by an agent who sent her to auditions for TBS, Nickelodeon, Law & Order, unfortunately all without success. At this point, Banks decided to end her pursuit of an acting career, citing the stiff competition and overall sense of unfulfillment. She began writing rap and R&B songs as a creative outlet. She also never finished high school, instead choosing to follow her dream of becoming a recording artist. Under the name Miss Banks, that's Miss Banks with the $sign, she released her debut recording, Give Me a Chance, online on November 9, 2008. And yes, that same track was re-recorded, remastered 6 years later for Broke with Expensive Taste. The recording was accompanied by the self-produced track 17, which sampled the Ladytron song of the same name. Banks sent both tracks to American DJ Diplo. Later that year, she signed a development deal with record label XL Recordings and began working with producer Richard Russell in London, leaving the label later that year due to conflicting ideas. Under Miss Banks, she released various tracks, including my personal favourite freestyle, Grand Scam, PUSSY, Bambi, The Chills, and Barbie Shit. And also, there's a really good YouTube video that's like the Miss Banks EP, you should definitely check that out. After leaving XL Recordings, Azealia dropped the Miss Banks with the $sign name and formally became Azealia Banks, which proceeded to move to Montreal. Using YouTube as a portal, she uploaded several demo tracks, including Later with an A, and a cover of Slow Hands by Interpol. After her Canadian visa expired, Banks returned to New York, where she sold keychains at a Manhattan jazz club and danced at a Queens strip club to make ends meet. Azealia described this as a bit of a low point in her life, saying that that's when she was really depressed. I don't have a manager. I don't have a boyfriend. I don't have any friends. I don't have any money. Here I am working at the strip club, trying not to say the wrong thing and get into fights with these girls who don't give a shit. Things turned around for Azealia, however, in September 2011, when she released her debut single and signature song 212 as a free digital download from her website. It was officially released on December 6, 2011, as a lead single from her EP 1991. The track attained European moderate chart success, peaking at number 14 in the Netherlands, number 12 in the United Kingdom, and number 7 in Ireland. The track now has over 221 million views on YouTube. The song was also lauded by critics and has been included in many publications' lists of the best songs of the 2010s, with Billboard citing it as one of the songs that defined the decade. Rolling Stone placed the music video for it on their list of the 100 greatest music videos, and the song itself at 485 on their revised list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. And it's funny, keeping in mind with the music video placement, Azealia has come out and stated that she didn't like her dancing in that video, so she's probably mortified knowing that this is one of the top 100 videos.
It's hilarious. I mean, like, see my mom makes fun of me and she's just like, bitch, you cannot dance. Like, I know, I can't dance.
I thought it was so good.
And everyone's like, oh my God, the dance is amazing. I'm just like, where are people from?
Azealia collaborated with other artists, including featuring on other songs such as the Scissor Sisters, and was initially confirmed to feature on Lady Gaga's 2013 album Art Pop, but the two tracks, Ratchet and Red Flame, were scrapped, as Gaga claimed Azealia was...
She's like, she's got a bad attitude. Yeah.
And it's interesting too because Red Flame has resurfaced, and to me that feels more like an Azealia featuring Lady Gaga track. Ratchet has allegedly never been recorded, and there's a lot of drama behind that too. Initially, it was supposed to be a Nicki Minaj diss track, the whole problematic nature with white people using the word ratchet. So it's just like, well, Azealia was right. Soz, just saying. Soz gags. Azealia also recorded Bambi, which was produced by Paul Epworth and selected as the soundtrack for a Thierry Mugler, I don't know how the fuck to say that designer's name, fashion show in Paris, which further pushed Azealia to mainstream success. Now, her first EP, 1991, was released in May 2012 globally. It was certified gold by the Australian Recording Industry Association, or ARIA if you like. In July 2012, Banks released the mixtape Fantasy through her Twitter account. Preceding its release were the tracks Jumanji, Aquababe, Nathan, Fierce. There's just so many good songs on that whole mixtape. To me, it's one of the best mixtapes of all time, if not the best. Now, the long-awaited debut album. So in 2012, Banks revealed that her debut album would be called Broke with Expensive Taste, and said the album would include contributions from musicians including Tokyo Yasuda, Theophilus London, Kevin Hussein, and Ariel Pink. She initially said the album's lead single would be a track titled Miss Amore, and that it would be accompanied by a B-side, Miss Camaraderie, both produced by Lone, who also produced Licorice. But these plans changed. In January 2013, she announced that the first official single from the album would be Young Rapunzel, which was released in March 2013 through SoundCloud. Now, around this time, I met Azealia backstage during her Sydney show at Enmore Theatre, and, we were treated to Young Rapunzel first. We got to see the artwork, we got to listen to the song. She was by far one of the nicest celebrities I've ever met, and I've met plenty of nasty celebrities. So, to me, it's always funny that, people have this view that she's like this nasty troll, or she's a bitch, or whatever misogynistic take they have on it. It's like, oh, actually, she's a total sweetheart. As long as you're not trying to pull her hair or call her slurs or anything, she's going to be absolutely polite and lovely to you. So fans, take note. A few months later in May 2013, Banks released ATM Jam featuring Pharrell. Now, it's interesting with this single release, Azealia has come out saying that she didn't really like the song. She thought Pharrell was kind of shit on it. She's true. And also, there were two music videos produced for this song. So the original one was scrapped. The second one featured more like an e-girl, Instagram girl vibe. I don't really understand it. I prefer the first version way better, even though both were produced by Rody Alwyn. Banks announced in mid-July 2014 that after a long battle, she had parted ways with Universal Music Group. She reportedly had possession and the rights to the work she released with Interscope. On July 28 the same year, she released the official second single from Broke with Expensive Taste titled Heavy Metal and Reflective on her own label, Azealia Banks Records, with further singles including Chasing Time, Ice Princess, Wallace, later down the track Soda, and also updated recordings of previously released tracks including Luxury and Gimme a Chance. Banks' surprise release Broke with Expensive Taste under Prospect Park on iTunes on November 7, 2014, to critical acclaim, with many comparing her debut album to that of a higher quality as, say, Lauryn Hill. Now, fast forward a year and a half, in February 2016, Banks released the single The Big Big Beat. The song served as the lead single to Banks' second mixtape, Slay Z, which was released on March 24, 2016. And now I should note the use of the word mixtape here is pretty incorrect. It was initially designed to be a mixtape, but was more of an EP. In early 2017, Banks launched her online store, CheapyXO. The site features artist merchandise from Azealia, as well as original skincare products, notably Pussy Pop, designed to lighten darker skin areas around the genitals. Many critics, specifically referring to the sewer line that is Twitter, take aim at Azealia for encourage anal bleaching products to gay men, saying her previous homophobic remarks should lead to a boycott by queer people of her music and her brand. But honestly, those who've listened to Azealia and followed her accounts know she is inspired by black queer culture, notably the ballroom scene, and that she herself has transgender family members and queer friends. Does it excuse her many transphobic and homophobic comments over the years? Not necessarily. But however, I just think, in my own opinion, Azealia Banks doesn't hate the queer community at all. I don't think she is homophobic or transphobic. I mean, look at any tweet or post that criticizes her music or her looks, and it's always by a white gay man who feels that they're entitled to their derogatory opinions. I'm just going to state the truth up front. Perez Hilton deserved to be called a faggot, and it was long overdue. I mean, I'm so glad Azealia actually put it into words, because I think every other celebrity would have been too scared. I mean, this is the same Perez Hilton who was taking upskirt photos of Miley Cyrus, constantly hounding Britney Spears, and yet he really thought he could get away with trash talking to Azealia Banks? Come on, dude. My main point, though, is that you can't tweet or message or directly attack someone through social media, any other communications, and then cry wolf when they respond back with another insult. Azealia has never believed in sanitizing her free speech to appeal to a mass market. That's never been her thing. However, all black celebrities and black artists are targeted by white people consistently, especially black women, who, plot twist, the gays love stealing everything from, whether it be mannerisms, language, or music. Azealia has addressed the white gay community many times, including these clips. Often, Azealia jokes about the double standards, but out of context, it can look harmful.
Do you feel accepted by the other LGTs or even the other Bs?
The black and the Latinos ones, yes. The fucking, the white gays be trying to fucking tear me apart. They so evil. I'll be like, oh, and that's why I be fucking with them. That's why I be like, shut up, faggot. Like, shut up. And they be like, oh my God. Like, oh, you a bitch, you a slut, you a this. Like, oh, you a flop, you a this. Well, all right, if you could call me a flop and you could call me a this, why I can't call you a faggot? You call me a bitch, I call you a faggot. What's the difference?
And look, I'm not here to defend any other derogatory remarks that Azealia has made in the past, but I'm also not here to pass judgment on her. I can't fathom how difficult it must be to be Azealia Banks. You know, imagine your phone going off every 3 seconds with some racist bullshit coming from yet another white gay, or just someone trying to tear you down. Likewise, I can't imagine how disheartening it must be to see an acclaimed musician write remarks about your gender expression or refer to you as a slur. So I'm on the fence with that. I don't condone it, but I also kind of understand why she does specifically, clap back to the white gay community. So it is what it is. Now, speaking of scandals, it was announced in 2015 that Azealia would make her acting debut as the main character in the RZA-directed musical drama film Coco, which was later released as Love Beats Rhymes. The film was officially released on December 1, 2017. However, Azealia alleged that Russell Crowe spat on her and called her racial slurs. RZA denied this happened, saying Russell spat at her, but not on her. Azealia appeared on a few news talk shows to give her side of the story, and given Russell Crowe's previous instances of violence, I truly believe Azalia's side of the story. No black woman is going to go live on television to an audience that already thinks the worst of them, just to fabricate a story about a powerful figure in Hollywood. The angry black woman narrative, in which a black woman asserting her confidence and taking back the power in a heated situation, is designed to make the white person feel as though they were victimized and attacked. And we've seen this happen to black women again and again, from Azealia to Serena Williams, even drag race contestants like the Vixen. Over the past 5 years, Azealia has released some standalone singles in preparation for the release of her second mixtape and second album, with songs including Chi Chi, Treasure Island, Escapades, in my opinion one of her top 3 songs of all time, Pyrex Princess, Playhouse, Anna Wintour, Winds of a Butterfly, Tarantula, Six Flags, Buckingham Hall Night, plus the 30-minute mixtape Young Rapunzel 2. So what's next for Azealia Banks? In my opinion, if you have to be a holier-than-thou person who needs to separate the artist from the music, please go do that, but can you just shut the fuck up about it? I don't want to see it in my feed 24/7. The rest of us cunts will continue to support Azealia and her brilliant music. I also feel a lot of people disregarded her importance as a Twitter figure, and also just, particularly with her social media commentary, bringing attention to the issues around double standards with racism, reparations, fandom culture, touring contracts, how an artist is expected to remain quiet and just not engage with clapping back. Now it seems like every celebrity is doing it, but yeah, Azealia does it once and suddenly it's, oh no, too far. Ugh. Azealia has also brought attention to crucial discussions around reparations, equality, and pointing out how misogynistic some gay men are. I am gay myself. A lot of gay people in Sydney, if not around the world, just hate women for some reason. I've never understood it. It's not homophobic for her to call that out. So I don't get what the big deal is. Now, as mentioned at the start of this video, Azealia is currently touring Australia. She had a sold-out show in Sydney. She also cancelled performances in Melbourne and Brisbane. It's been a little unclear as to why specifically they were cancelled, as Azealia has given different reasons, being that she had her work visa cancelled, she was scammed by the promoters. It's not exactly sure which promoter. And also, these are just allegations. This isn't necessarily the truth. And it's just interesting that she's said that she will never come back to Australia. She's had previous racist experience, which I do believe. I mean, she had that incident in Melbourne back in 2013 where someone threw a bottle at her stage. It almost hit her in the head. I can admit I missed the party. She also alleged that in Brisbane, someone threw something at her head and actually hit her. And I mean, this is not a unique experience. A lot of international artists, mostly black, have also experienced a lot of these kind of violent incidents from Australian crowds. And also keep in mind, Australia is still a very racist country. That will never go away, unfortunately. It's something that, Australians need to work on themselves to address unconscious bias and also just the double standards. I don't think there's any issue with Azealia pointing out racism or speaking about how she feels miserable and uncomfortable, because that's her experience. And she's also provided evidence as such. Whereas, for a white gay man like me, I do see it and I do believe it, but I'll never have that same experience that she's had. Azealia has also pointed out the slave-like contracts that international touring artists enter and agree to with Australian promoters. And it seems like it's a lot more, I'm going to say, unfair compared to, contracts in Europe or contracts in America. So I'm glad that she's bringing it to attention, because all artists deserve to be paid fairly, but they also deserve to be treated with respect. That's all she's asking for. She's just asking for respect. She's not burning someone's house down like the media wants you to believe. I mean, fuck's sakes, give the girl a break. Also, don't forget to check out Azalia's discography. Links are in the description. If you love this video, thank you very much. And if you hated this video, go fuck yourself. Bye.
Where do you wake up? Tell you bitch keep hating. I'm a new one too, huh? See, I remember you when you were the young new face. But you do like to slumber, don't you? Now you boo up too, hun. I'ma ruin you, cunt. What you want to when I